2017 Ford Fiesta hatchback has titanic shoes to fill. Over 8 generations it has become the best-selling nameplate in the UK. It enters an incredibly competitive marketplace featuring impressive vehicles such as the Seat Ibiza, Nissan Micra, Vauxhall Corsa, Peugeot 208, Renault Clio and countless other cars. In fact, at last inspection there were more than 20 protagonists in this sector alone. The success of this small hatchback, called a supermini in industry parlance, is due to its sheer breadth of ability. Low list and finance prices coupled with entertaining driving and fun styling to appeal to a huge swathe of the UK's car-buying population. 2017 Ford Fiesta, what's on offer? The new Fiesta will be available in a variety of guises. There are 9 trim levels from style up to plush Vignale or sporty SD line, and a range of optional extras on hand to further personalize your car. Zetec is set to be the most popular by a significant margin, up to 60% of the total mix, while titanium will account for 1/5 of sales. On top of that, there's a choice 1.1-litre non-turbo petrol engines with 70 to 85 horsepower, a suite of excellent 1.0-litre turbocharged EcoBoost units with between 100 and 140 horsepower, and 2 1.5-litre diesels with 85 or 120 horsepower. We're expecting 3 in 5 Fiestas sold to be powered by the 1.0-litre in its trio of power outputs. Then there's the choice of 3 or 5-door body styles. We're expecting Ford to sell these in a ratio of 70 hours 30 minutes respectively. What's the 2017 Ford Fiesta like to drive? Very good indeed. We've no reason to expect anything other than gargantuan sales of this new Fiesta. It's as good to drive as the previous version but now comes equipped with some of the latest tech and driver assistance features, if you pay for them. Sure, there are some cheaper filling materials in the cabin, and we'd give the glass sunroof, standard on Vignale, optional otherwise, a wide berth for its cabin headroom and wind noise penalties, but on initial inspection from our early drive, we think it'll remain among the class leaders without a shadow of a doubt. Will the Ford Fiesta be cheap to finance and run? From launch, Ford's finance deals are a bit off the pace. Figures of £116 per month for a PCP on a Zetec and £150 on a titanium have been quoted, albeit with a relatively large £5,000 deposit and reasonable 2.9% APR over 36 months. Want to buy a 2017 Ford Fiesta on finance? Here's what it really costs. We'd expect better deals after the initial fanfare has died down, however. Insurance groups range from 2E up to 15E, so it's at the cheaper end of the spectrum here too, and fuel economy and tax bills are very low indeed thanks to a recent range of high-tech engines. New Ford Fiesta ST and active models in 2018. The new Fiesta ST will follow in 2018, great news for enthusiasts. This is big news simply because the previous version became the benchmark for all hot hatches. Its ultra-competitive price was joined by hilariously entertaining handling and a peppy engine that begged to be worked hard. The recipe for the next version includes a 1.5-litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine, downsized from the previous 1.64-cylinder, and the very same mix of attributes listed above. We can't wait. At the other end of the spectrum and widening the Fiesta's appeal further is the Active, a higher-riding version that aims to snag sales from the burgeoning SUV sector. This one launches at the same time as the Street, in February 2018. The verdict: the 8th incarnation of the Fiesta is as good to drive as ever, and features even more safety, driver assistance and infotainment kit. It comes at a price relative to the competition, both for outright buyers and those looking to finance. It's not perfect, the interior isn't class-leading in terms of design or quality, and although it's comfortable, it's not as polished dynamically as we'd like. But it's a very good effort, and given the previous generation model was Britain's best-selling car, it's understandable that Ford stuck to the formula by refining what it had. In conclusion, it's up there among the best small hatchbacks you can buy, but it's not decisively head and shoulders above them, as was the 2009 Fiesta when it was launched. Read on for the comprehensive expert Ford Fiesta hatchback review, where we really get under this new car's skin. 3 engines, multiple power outputs, no hybrid or electric propulsion on the cards. Our pick is the EcoBoost 1.0-litre petrol. There are 3 main engine options to choose from here: 1.1-litre petrol, 1.0-litre turbocharged EcoBoost and 1.5-litre diesel. If you want an automatic, however, you'll have to pick the 1.0 with 100 horsepower. All other versions come with a manual gearbox, 5-speed for the 1.1 and 6-speed for all others. The latter is the only one we've tried, and it's an admirable effort that feels solid, with excellent lever placement in the cabin helping no end. Every motor is available in multiple power outputs, as detailed below. Petrol Ford Fiestas 1.1 TVCT, 70 horsepower, 14.9 seconds 0 to 62 miles per hour, 99 miles per hour. Not driven yet 1.1 TVCT, 85 horsepower, 14 seconds 0 to 62 miles per hour, 106 miles per hour. Not driven yet 1.0T EcoBoost manual, 100 horsepower, 10.5 seconds 0 to 62 miles per hour, 114 miles per hour. Not driven yet but set to be most popular engine 1.0T EcoBoost automatic, 100 horsepower, 12.2 seconds 0 to 62 miles per hour, 112 miles per hour. Not driven yet but only automatic option 1.0T EcoBoost manual, 125 horsepower, 9.9 seconds 0 to 62 miles per hour, 121 miles per hour. Not driven yet 1.0T EcoBoost manual, 140 horsepower, 9 seconds 0 to 62 miles per hour, 126 miles per hour. The majority of the petrol lineup uses a 3-cylinder EcoBoost engine, with power outputs of 100, 125 or 140 horsepower to choose from. The entry-level 100 horsepower version provides adequate power to shift the Fiesta along, but won't set your pulse racing. In reality it's not that much slower than the 125 horsepower or 140 horsepower engines, but lacks a little of their mid-range punch. The 125 horsepower EcoBoost is a great middle ground, offering more sprightly performance without the associated costs. The real advantage, however, is the way it pulls from low revs, so you don't need to shift down gears so often. We think the 140 horsepower engine is the best of the bunch, and as well it should be given it's the second most expensive. It's extremely responsive and much smoother than we remember Ford's 3-cylinder engines of yore to be. We came away impressed with the flexibility of this engine too. Its power band is wide enough that you don't have to change gears too often. Single automatic Ford Fiesta option. If you want an automatic gearbox, there's currently only one choice, perhaps reflecting the fact Ford reckons only 8% of Fiestas will be so equipped, the 1.0-liter, 100 horsepower EcoBoost, with a 6-speed torque converter box, as opposed to a more modern dual-clutch transmission. Don't worry too much about the difference. The upshot is that it takes a little while longer to change gears than you might be used to, even if you make use of the diminutive steering wheel-mounted shift paddles. For the most part though, it's a reasonably smooth gearbox and only becomes little jerky if you want to accelerate very quickly. Although quick off the line, this drivetrain takes nearly 2 seconds longer to get from 0 to 62 miles per hour than a manual, so it's probably best to pick that if you prioritize performance over convenience. Diesel Ford Fiestas 1.5T diesel, 85 horsepower, 12.5 seconds 0 to 62 miles per hour, 109 miles per hour. 1.5T diesel, 125 horsepower, 9 seconds 0 to 62 miles per hour, 121 miles per hour. The higher powered diesel is an altogether very impressive unit that won't leave drivers feeling shortchanged, but it is expensive relative to all other motors. It's not quite as smooth or responsive as the 1.0-liter EcoBoost petrol, but it is compared to many diesels, and during our test it registered around 10 miles per gallon better during mixed driving. That'll be enough to swing it for many. For keen drivers, Ford Fiesta ST coming in 2018. The previous Fiesta ST was widely regarded as one of the best hot hatches you could buy, and 2018's version looks set to continue the trend. The recipe is very similar, albeit with a 1.5-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine under the bonnet in place of the 1.6-liter 4-cylinder of before. We've got very high hopes for the street, so keep an eye out for a review around February 2018. As good, if not better, than ever. Still a benchmark for ride and handling mix, easy to park and turn in small spaces. Here's an interesting fact about the Fiesta's handling. Ford's engineers have dialed back the resistance of the steering by around 20%. This is the polar opposite of what many firms are doing these days, adding extra weight that they assume translates to feedback about what the front wheels are experiencing under the car. So on the face of it you'd think Ford's approach might make for steering less impressive than before, but you'd be wrong. It does feel lighter for sure, but instead there's a wonderfully immediate and predictable response on initial turn-in. This is something Ford is a master at, and it shows. You can flick the Fiesta across bending B roads with huge amounts of confidence because you can tell exactly what it's going to do. The 2017 Ford Fiesta sets handling standards. In fact, the whole chassis is a masterpiece. The amount of grip is higher than ever, but it's the way it instantaneously corners brilliantly and soaks up lumps and bumps in the road that really stand out. In fairness, the 7th generation Fiesta was particularly good at this too, but jumping out of rival cars, it's very noticeable indeed. The Fiesta's turning circle isn't the largest in the sector, but we're pleased to confirm a 3-point turn is possible without too much in the way of driver arm flailing. Parking is easy, and easier still if you've got the acoustic sensors or automatic parking system in higher spec trims. Ford's technicians have done lots of work on the brakes, too, with a sharper initial bite and far shorter stopping distances. This doesn't translate to a grabby pedal feel, though, like the rest of the car's handling, it feels very well resolved. How does the Ford Fiesta ST line handle? Even better than the rest of the range we've tried so far. This is because Ford has significantly re-engineered the Fiesta's chassis for this model, with even more responsive steering and a 10mm ride height drop to keep body roll in check. While it's fair to assume ride comfort should suffer as a result, we found the difference, during back-to-back evaluation, to be minimal at worst. To really appreciate the Ford Fiesta, you'll want to take one of these for a test drive. High-spec infotainment, very impressive, great front seats in all trims driven so far, some lower quality plastics. It's fair to say the interior of the Fiesta has been given a significant uplift in quality and style. There are soft touch plastics around many of the visible areas, but there are still a few places, especially on the doors and lower down near the footwells, that have what feels like cheaper materials instead. This is where you can tell that this is a car built to a cost. In the versions we've driven so far, the Ford Fiesta's cabin is dominated by the huge infotainment touchscreen you get on higher-spec cars. Finished with a gloss black surround, it's in keeping with the rest of the cabin's finishing, and actually helps draw your eye away from some obviously cheaper materials found as you begin poking around the interior. What's Sync 3 like on the 2017 Ford Fiesta? The Sync 3 infotainment system works well, though. The screen is ultra-responsive and the menus very intuitive, backed up by processing power to enable quick pinch and swipe actions on the sat-nav mapping. Ford hasn't lagged behind when it comes to in-car entertainment, and this system feels right up to date. While the covers take various forms depending on the trim level, the seats themselves are the same on all Fiestas until the ST model is launched in 2018, and we found the fronts especially extremely comfortable and supportive. The interior of the Ford Fiesta Vignale to take aim at the likes of the DS3 and Audi A1. The Fiesta lineup now includes a Vignale. This means you can expect quilted leather upholstery for the seats, but false leather on the dash, and a very high level of standard equipment. Well-insulated cabin-grade seats steer clear of glass roof. This is another area the Fiesta has seen dramatic improvement compared with its predecessor. We were particularly impressed with the lack of wind noise at motorways speeds during our test drive. Once again, we have to warn against ordering the panoramic glass roof here. It makes for a far more blustery experience even with the glass shut. That'll be a problem for Vignale customers who get this as standard. Engine and road noise is well contained, and the excellent suspension not only does a great job of soaking up bumps, but settles back down so quickly that it's always ready for the next one. Ford's engineers spend a huge amount of time on this, and it's paid off. Sportier looking Ford Fiesta ST line interior. The ST line version has sportier looking seats, but they're identical to the rest of the range underneath the snazzy covers, and the fractionally lower ride height doesn't appear on first inspection to have a noticeable effect on the ride quality, which in the main is among the very best in the sector on all models we've tried. We're confident the 17-inch wheels on the cars we've driven will work well on our poor UK road surfaces, but smaller 16 inches are on hand if the ride is a little choppy. Good spread of equipment across range. Base spec style, a little parsimonious Zetec will be most popular. Titanium, good value even from launch in 2017. There were a total of 9 trim levels on offer. Style, Zetec, B&O Play Zetec Series, Titanium, Titanium X, B&O Play Titanium Series, SD Line, SD Line X and Vignale. On top of that, there are a number of optional extras on board to allow you to further customize your Fiesta. You've also got a choice of blue or red paint as standard, with a further 10 color options available at extra cost. Standard Ford Fiesta equipment at the bottom of the range, Style doesn't net you a massive amount of kit. 15-inch steel wheels with hubcaps, halogen headlights, electrically operated heated door mirrors, AM/FM radio with 4.2-inch screen, manual air conditioning, automatic headlights, lane keeping technology. Progressing to ZTEC, which we're expecting to be most popular, adds 15-inch alloy wheels, chrome exterior detailing, day running lights, quick clear heated windscreen, leather trimmed steering wheel, Ford Sync 3 with DAB radio, 6.5-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The jump to B&O Play ZTEC series adds the option of 2 exclusive body colors, bohemian or chrome copper with corresponding interior finishing, along with the upgraded B&O Play speaker system and a larger 8.0-inch touch screen. Next up is titanium, which builds on ZTEC by adding 16-inch alloy wheels, power folding door mirrors with puddle lights, tinted rear windows, cruise control, automatic high beam headlights and windscreen wipers, automatic climate control, traffic sign recognition, driver fatigue detection system. On top of all that, Titanium X nets you the B&O Play audio system, rear view camera, heated front seats and steering wheel, part leather upholstery, keyless entry and ignition, and electric rear windows for 5-door models. The B&O Play Titanium series simply adds the same color choices as the B&O Play ZTEC above, including the 8.0-inch touch screen. The sportier option is SD Line, which takes ZTEC and adds 17-inch alloy wheels, sports suspension, ST Line bodykit, Ford power start button, sports pedals. You can then upgrade this to ST Line Extreme, including LED rear lights, tinted rear windows, part leather seats, cruise control, automatic lights and wipers, climate control, traffic sign recognition and the driver fatigue system. Finally, at the luxurious top end of the Fiesta lineup is Vigna, which includes 17-inch alloy wheels, unique Vigna grille, openable panoramic sunroof, leather upholstery, heated front seats and steering wheel, rear parking camera, optional Ford Fiesta extras and accessories. You are able to personalize the Fiesta with a wide range of options. Most of the kit listed above can be fitted to lesser grades, while key upgrades include door edge protectors, front and rear parking sensors, automatic parking systems, adjustable boot floor, 5 contrasting colors for the roof and door mirrors. There are also dealer fit options such as tow bars, roof boxes, ISOFIX child seats and first aid kits. The Ford Fiesta was crash tested by the safety experts at Euro NCAP in 2017, resulting in a solid 5-star rating, with impressive adult and child occupant scores. Standard Ford Fiesta safety kit base spec style cars get lane keeping assist, a speed limiter, a rear seatbelt reminder and automatic headlamps, which form what Ford tellingly titles the NCAP pack. You also get a tire pressure monitoring system and a tire repair kit, but no spare wheel, and 6 airbags including a pair of curtain ones. The body shell itself is also far stronger thanks to use of more advanced metals. Step up to ZTEC and you'll enjoy a heated windscreen that clears quickly in cold conditions, Sync 3 multimedia with emergency assistance that calls the authorities if you've had a crash, and LED headlights. At titanium trim you also get traffic sign recognition, automatic high beam headlights and a driver fatigue alert system, along with cruise control and automatic lights and wipers. Key optional Ford Fiesta safety equipment. The important safety kit you may want to specify optionally includes most of the above, along with automatic parking systems, blind spot warning, adaptive cruise control, autonomous emergency braking and forward collision warning. Small car so easy to park, decent space up front inside, avoid panoramic sunroof. We found it possible to seat a 6-foot adult behind one of identical dimensions relatively successfully in the Fiesta with adequate headroom without the panoramic sunroof. However, there aren't any rear cup holders and storage is fairly thin on the ground. Up front there feels like there's far more space. And if that opening glass sunroof is installed, expect severe penalties in headroom for anyone in the car, especially rear seat occupants, who won't want to be there for long if they're anything approaching 6 feet tall for fear of serious neck problems. With a relatively small footprint, the Fiesta is still easy to park in a normal size space. Moving up to the higher trim levels nets you acoustic parking sensors and even an automatic parking system should this be a concern. The Fiesta's boot isn't a bad size. It's almost identical to the Clio's, but we have to mark it down on the high loading lip. You have to reach up and over this to load heavier items, which could prove problematic for some. That said, the opening itself is of a decent size and you can fold the rear seats away to liberate far more room if needs be.